Okay, this is a quick look at great battles of the American Civil War. Something where I've got a few modules of this, but I've never really played it. We did have an attempt at South Mountain, but something distracted me. I didn't stop because I didn't like it. I just something else came up. Now, what we're looking at here is Stones River. Now, Stones River is quite a big module, as you can see. And this map is about is that 6 foot or 5 foot? Probably about 5 foot by 3 foot. I'm not entirely sure, but it takes up a lot of space. I've got a cat come here just to say hello. Now, one thing I will warn you about Stones River, even if you could get your hands on a copy, or if you have got a copy and you haven't played it yet, is there's what I would say is an unacceptable amount of errata. There are errata on the map. I think there's one errata on the map. There are missing counters. There are about 8 missing counters, which you're going to have to make for yourself, or you can get replacements in one of their C3I magazines. There are errors in the rule book, which isn't so much of a bother because I'm effectively using the rule books from the latest rule books I've got to in 2019 from Into the Woods. And I'm using, there are errors on the play aids, which yet again isn't a problem because I'm using the play aids from Into the Woods. There are errata in the setups for virtually every single scenario. Now, there's a full set of errata on the MMP website, which you're just going to have to download and sort things out. There are counters with the wrong colour bands on them, counters with the wrong efficiency ratings. There are counters that don't match the play aids over there, what they're saying is on the counter and what is actually on the counter. So it's a bit of a mess and a bit disappointing, but it's not something that would stop you from playing this entirely. Now what I'm doing here is because I'm learning this game, I've sort of set Stones River up so it's an encounter battle. So this is scenario 10, so it's a bit weird. It's not going to be anyway historical. We've got the Confederacy, we've got quite a few units on the board, elements of Polk's Corps and some of Hardy's Corps, but we haven't got the Corps commander there. We've got Union forces which will be arriving under march orders from that road right up in the corner there. It's unusual. Seamus is purring away like a bad thing. Doesn't normally do that. He's purring so quiet you can't hear it. So all I've done so far is I've thrown for initiative. Confederates got the initiative because no one in this particular scenario has the initiative. We've got all the units which were placed under road march at the start have effectively all moved. Because you can move up to 4 activations worth in road march. So some of them have picked up a little bit of fatigue. The cat's being a real irritation today. So the only other thing to do next is start drawing. You're going to draw activation counters out of a cup. Now, I've noticed there's not a huge amount of instructional videos on YouTube, and there's some good ones, but they've got flaws. Like Stigler's is a very, very good tutorial. Apart from the fact the first one has got awful sound, which is putting a lot of people off. You got Hex to Hex's instructionals, which are good as well. Though I've got to admit, I was a little bit confused because he's numbered them by the sections in the book. So I'm like, I found the first video, and then where's the second video? And the second video's like the fourth section or whatever. So just bear that in mind, and you'll soon find he's covered all the relevant parts. He's done it really well. If you see these green sort of what do you call them, like tiddlywinks thing, doesn't really matter. Anyway, these green things on the board, they're marking the objective hex for the battle. So you're really scoring by inflicting casualties on your opponents and controlling these strategic points here. Now, I think that's about it. As an introduction to this, I know I'm playing the Europa Universalis game downstairs, which is probably still my major sort of game, but I'm getting a bit of an itch for a war game, you know, whereas Europa Universalis is a brilliant game, but it's more a geopolitical strategy game, whereas this is obviously much more a standard military game. Now the whole series, there's quite a few different modules for this, and they go back all the way to I think the original 3 Days at Gettysburg, which was 1980s something. So I've gone through lots and lots of iterations, and I noticed that the score for the old ones on Board Game Geek isn't that brilliant, whereas you're seeing good scores for the later modules, like Into the Woods, which is Shiloh, and Death Valley are scoring extremely well. So I reckon that you should definitely use the latest set of the rules. Okay, that's it for an introduction.